Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Delta Report on this Sunday, the 12th of June, 2022. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to have you guys here. I'm going to talk about a problem right now that's going to utterly destroy North America if it's not fixed. And, you're probably saying to yourself, hey, you're probably going to talk about the economy? Yeah, the economy is a huge problem, but I'm talking about something that's just going to tear North America apart if it's not fixed and fixed soon. And I don't think they're going to fix it. But we're going to talk about it anyway. And the problem is that half of the United States of America, the western half of the United States of America, is basically turning into a desert. And there's an awful lot of people live in that half of the United States of America. The process, the earth has went into a process. Deserts form on the earth. How do you think they got there in the first place? Like the Mojave Desert and the big deserts on Earth. There's already a desert in the southwestern United States. How they form is they weren't always deserts. Deserts form, they become deserts. And this is a fact that you can look up and you can find out that deserts, they generally expand. They start in a small region, becomes too dry to support plant life, and then it expands, and that desperate heat and that dry conditions expand outward from that area because they don't draw moisture any longer. That's how a desert expands. Like the Sahara Desert, Mojave Desert, they expand, and we already have a desert there, like I say, and it's going to expand. Let's open the charts and talk about this some more. Let's open up the charts right here and take a look at this. Look, I don't know if I can focus in on this map. I'm going to try to. This map tells you it all. And like I say, the western half of the United States of America. The whole western half. See all that orange? That's drought. And see the dark orange, the dark intensity, how big those areas are, including like a lot of California? That's extreme drought conditions. This is a right now map. This is not last week, last month. This is right now. This is the extent of the drought. Massive drought going on right now in the southwestern and in the western side of the United States of America. Okay, and now these are current conditions. And this is how many people stuff. It says 40.1% of the United States and 47.57% of the lower 48 states are in drought right now. Okay? 171.3 million acres of crops in the United States are experiencing drought conditions this week. 171.3 million acres. How much food are we going to be able to produce? If almost half of our crops are going to be dry in the field. And if you're going to make them grow, it requires irrigation. Where are you going to get the water from? Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. 91.8 million people in the United States, in the lower 48 states, are affected by drought this week. 91.8 million. Where are all those people going to go when the water reservoirs run dry? 27 U.S. states are experiencing moderate drought. This is a problem if not fixed, and yes, there is a solution. This problem could be fixed. And we'll talk about that too, what the solution is. I don't think they're going to do it because it would be a project that would be massive in scale and would cost trillions of dollars to complete. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. Climate change here. Climate change continues to impact Lake Mead in the Colorado River. Now, the big story out there right now, they're talking about, they're finding these bodies and stuff and these old things that have been underwater in Lake Mead for ages, and it's been revealing things. And this is the big story. It's what everybody's interested in. Who the heck cares about that? a few old cars and stuff that have been drained dry in the lake, when the real story is that they can't produce the electricity from hydropower like they could because they haven't got enough water in there. But not only that, it's running dry. And it feeds, Lake Mead feeds 40 million people. 40 million people get their water from Lake Mead. It's running dry. That's the big story, not whether they find an old corpse in there and they make that the big story. That's, again, the media trying to divert your attention away. Don't look here, look over here. The big story is Lake Mead is running dry. It's dropping like a stone, the water level in Lake Mead. 40 million people depend upon that water. That's the big story. So what are they going to do? They're probably not going to do anything. And after it gets to a certain level, your taps in that area, you live in that area, your taps are just going to run dry. And it's going to happen all of a sudden when it happens. Then what are you going to do with 40 million people if you can't give them water? Tell me, what did they do? It's just too big a problem to even imagine. Climate change continues. This is what the article, it says, climate change continues to impact Lake Mead and the Colorado River. But what are they going to do about this? Another article right here. California's drought is so bad it's going to slash hydropower. Now this is already happening right now. California is slashing hydropower because of the this facility here at Lake Powell, and the hydropower is 8% of the state's total power generation. So they just lost 8% of their total power generation. Well, that don't sound like a lot. You say, well, they still got 92%. Yeah, but who's not going to get power? Because now, when you consider there's millions and millions of people out there, you slash 8% of just 8% of the power, it means rolling blackouts. That's what it means. Honestly. And, if you know what happens if the power cuts off for too long, people take advantage of that. Criminals take advantage of power being out. And they learn to. They learn the timing of the blackouts and stuff. And people are getting desperate now because they've lost income to a point where and the politicians, they don't care about us. They don't care if you get criminalized, if you get hit by criminals coming to your home. They don't care because it's not them. This is just the way they are. They just don't care. So they don't care if crime rises by 200%, 1,000%, 10,000%. They don't care. Less, in their minds, just less useless eaters. Less of us out there if we all go at each other. They don't care. In fact, they want it. They would like it. It actually works in with their goals, I think. They just figure well to themselves, hey, you know what? We're going to replace some old robots anyway. Eventually. My idea is to reverse the whole thing around. Don't replace us with robots. Let's replace the politicians with robots. That's my idea, Replace them, not us. Anyway, so let's take a look here. California, Arizona, and Nevada have talks on new plan to save the Colorado River water. This is a bunch of BS. This won't work. It says 2.5 years after signing a deal aimed at averting damage crisis along the Colorado River, water officials from California, Arizona, and Nevada are discussing a plan to take even less water from the shrinking river and leave in Lake Mead in an effort to prevent the reservoir from falling to dangerously low levels. All they're doing with these plans is diverting water, a little bit of water here, diverting a little bit of water there. They're just prolonging the inevitable for these, because they're not bringing new water in. All they're doing is like one dam will drain into the next dam, and they're saying, okay, we won't open up that sluice this time. We won't drain so much water out of this one into that one or whatever. That ain't really going to help. There's only one thing that would really help this, And it's called a mega project to save the U.S. desert. And basically what this is about is, and this is the only way, the only thing that would really, really solve this problem, like a long-term fix, this would be a long-term fix, is to take water from the Great Lakes and take it hundreds and hundreds of miles down to the Colorado area, and into Lake Mead. This would be the only, into Lake Powell and Lake Mead. This would be the only thing that would really solve this problem. Take Great Lakes water, and they would need to stretch it for hundreds of miles across several states. Either an aqueduct, a very large aqueduct that would be probably as wide as a 2-lane highway size aqueduct, or a number of 12-foot diameter pipes, maybe 6 to 8 12-foot diameter pipes that would carry the water. And it would have to be hundreds of miles long, and then they'd pump the water through those pipes at high speed. This would really fill up these reservoirs for real, but it's a project that would probably cost several $trillion. And you know what? If they don't want a crisis on their hands, that's going to actually this because there's so many people involved here. What was I telling you a minute ago? The amount of people, 91.8 million people involved in this. What do you do with 90 million people? That's like 10 times the population of all New York City. What do you do with that many people if all of a sudden they can't wash themselves, they haven't got water to drink, they haven't got water? They're going to have to move out. They can't stay there. They'd stay there, they're going to die because there's no water left. What do you do with 91 million people? Right? Well, it displaces them. So then they move over to the other side. So they're in the western side, and they move over into the eastern side with everybody else. What do you think's going to happen there? You think they're all going to get along and say, hey, let's have a party. We welcome you over here. No, it's going to be one big riot. One big fight. That's all it'll be. And it's just going to, and that's why I say, that kind of dislocation can destroy a nation, can destroy a continent. Because Canada and the United States and Mexico, we're all linked on the same continent, basically. Not basically, we are. And so, like I say, this can destroy a continent. The displacement of 91 million people. And this is going to probably happen within the next couple years as it gets drier and drier out there, as a new desert forms, and this new monster desert, and we'll call it a monster desert, because it's probably going to be as big as the Sahara Desert. All that Rarian red there? Okay, so they got to get started now. If they want to have it done, see, it's going to be like a 2-year project to build all those pipes from the Great Lakes all the way down into the American Southwest. It's going to be like a 2 or 3 year project. And that's if they rush it. If they do like they did with the vaccine thing, they called it Operation Warp Speed. If they do an Operation Warp Speed and put everything they got into it right now, they might have it done in 2 or 3 years. Now's the time to start. But you know what they're going to do, like all politicians? They're going to sit there and twiddle their thumbs, and in about a year from now, this is gonna prove to be a crisis that's unparalleled when those places finally really go dry. That's what's happening. It's not just the water level in Lake Mead's dropping; it's on its way to going dry. And when they finally go dry in another year or two down the line, they won't have any pipeline project built or any hope for anything. The whole thing's just going to go dry, and it's going to displace. Like Mead is going to displace probably 20 to 40 million people. This is going to destroy everything, and the economy's breaking apart at the same time. We got a hyperinflation going on. Oh yeah. This is huge, guys. This is huge. These compiling problems that we got in the system right now are absolutely huge. And, you know, I kind of pity the kids, you know, out there that are 5, 10 years old, you know, having to grow up with these massive problems, you know. First it was COVID, and it's one thing after another. And now we're facing these kind of water shortage problems, you know. Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the very next video. Bye-bye.